fuel. We put some values in here when we built the base map out, just kind of get things going. These are solid starting point values. And in fact, I didn't notice any kind of hesitations driving on the dyno. We're trying to give it throttle input. We're going to find here we have our Excel mode. We always want it based on TPS, so we'll have TPS as our option. Now the Excel deadband, this is something we definitely want to change. 0.5 to 1% TPS per 100 second. That's the initiation to tripping the Excel sensitivity table or the Excel multiplier. We need to go and exceed this amount in order for it to work. The lower we have the value here, the easier for the acceleration enrichment to kick in. The higher we have the value here, the harder it is for it to kick in. We want to find a balance here so that we're not overfueling the engine as we're driving around. If we set it to 0, it would constantly pump and constantly turn on. That's not ideal. I'm going to go and set this to 1% per 100 milliseconds. That's a good value for pretty much any engine. Now the Excel decay, 60% right here. This is how quickly it's going to decay away the fuel that it's adding from this Excel sensitivity, or the Excel enrichment factor, I should say. So if we have a lower decay value, it's going to be slower to take the fuel that we've added in under the acceleration enrichment being tripped. It'll be slower to take that away, to decay it away, back to the base value. If we have a higher value here, that'll decay away the injector multiplier from the Excel fuel quicker. 60% is a good value, so I'm going to keep it there. Now, the way this is going to work, it's going to take a look. If we've exceeded 1% per second, or 1% per 100 milliseconds, it'll take a look at the Excel sensitivity table and the Excel cold correction. We put a value of 1.0 in the table here. This is normally used as a modifier or multiplier when the engine is cold, because we have a wall wetting effect. We talked about that on the cold start. This will multiply it, have a higher output when we're giving throttle changes, because we will find that the engine's going to have poor transient type of driving. So as we're finding on a cold engine, we start to give it throttle inputs, start to try to move the vehicle, and we're having bursts of airflow. The main fuel table is going to be a mess. It's not going to be completely characterize it, even with the post-start and warm-up enrichment being applied. So we need to have a higher multiplier here. I'm going to say from 68 and below, I'm going to go and double the value. And then from 68 to about 104, I'll do Shift H. We can see we'll dissipate it away. Once we're up to operating temperature, at least 120, 140, we want to keep the value at 1.0, no multiplier. That's because we want to go and just look at the sensitivity table then to determine what the actual pulse width output should be. Now, taking a look at this, the value is 6 here in terms of the sensitivity. This is going to act as a multiplier. This is going to be multiplying the injector pulse width. The higher the value, the higher the multiplier. The lower the value, the least amount of multiplier. High engine speeds, we typically don't need much of any multiplier in terms of the acceleration enrichment. We can pretty much deliver the injector pulse width from the base fuel table, because we find at the higher engine speeds, we have to have the throttle open a decent amount. We already have a lot of airflow coming into the engine. So if our throttle changes from 60 to 80, there's not going to be a whole lot of difference in the airflow ingestion into the motor. At low engine speeds, if we have a pretty large throttle change, we need to have a higher multiplier there, because the airflow burst coming into the engine, if the throttle's closed and I give the throttle a good whack, we're going to have a pretty large jump in airflow. We need to have a higher multiplication factor based on what we're finding from our sensitivity values here. So having a higher sensitivity value allows the pulse width to be scaled at a higher amount at the lower engine speeds, and at the higher engine speeds, we want to usually have it about 1.0. That scales out and it just runs the Excel multiplier based on whatever it would normally figure out. And we can find we have this kind of a descending trend as engine speed goes up. These are solid starting point values, but let's go and just take a look at this and just evaluate if this is going to be correct or not in terms of delivering our fuel for our engine when we're having throttle changes. I'm going to do a control S there and store this. So what I'm going to do is just blip the throttle real quick. I'm going to Datalog, so go to logging, go to record. I'm going to blip my throttle real quick. So we're just going to blip it. We can watch the TPS delta. Right now we see the TPS delta is moving around here a little bit. I'm going to go just blip the throttle. So we're seeing I'm blipping the throttle, and we're finding that we're having changes right there. So let me go to logging. Let's go to stop. Let's play this back so we can see I had variations in how large my throttle changes. We can see what this TPS delta was doing. So we see a smaller change right there, larger and even larger change. So bigger throttle inputs when I'm blipping off idle. Now, what we want to pay attention to here is what the air fuel is doing. So we can see it goes here to 70 lambda. The target is 1.0. We see the pulse width here jumps. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.